we're going to go on to the next question that April decided to tackle, and this is going to be a good one. Do you think women who have their own tend to expect too much? Does their ability to attain things give them a false sense of being a good mate?
No, it actually does not make you a good woman just because you're educated and you can obtain things. But the problem that I see with that question is all of us put a little bit too much weight on material things. And so I think that when you meet a guy, if you meet him in the club, if you meet him in the grocery store, if you meet him wherever, his assumption is that you want to come in and take all that he has. You want to basically milk him and juice him for all the money you can get out of him. You immediately want him to pay your car note, your house note, get your nails done, even if you've been dating 2 weeks. And I think that the emphasis being on material things is the root of the problem. But no, I do understand the question in that a lot of times we as women, we as successful women, women who are doing things, who are doing big things in the world, oftentimes think that simply because we have a degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees, a house, a car, what have you, that automatically makes us this great mate for this man, and that should be all that is required of us. And usually there's a lot lacking, and a lot of times we're looking for something out there in the world that we're lacking within ourselves. And so I think it normally comes back to you usually got to work on yourself, and normally whatever you're attracting is a mirror. So whatever it is, whatever characteristics you're lacking, you're going to find in the person who's in front of you. Whatever your weaknesses are, you're going to find in the person who's in front of you. It may not be in the exact same form, but it's going to be in some similar form. And so normally it all comes back to pointing the fingers at yourself and saying, okay, what am I lacking? I'm attracting this certain type of man because I need to do personal development on myself. I am attracting this certain type of man because I have unresolved issues with my dad. I am attracting this certain type of man because I didn't resolve the last 5 relationships in my life, what have you. So no, simply being able to obtain things and attract material things or attract wealth or basically build your own house and pull your own plow doesn't mean that you are this desirable helpmeet for another individual. Normally it's about what you're missing internally, and that's why you're not attracting better mates.
Do you think that those women tend to expect too much from men?
I don't know what too much is. That's the part I don't agree with. I think that normally when you come to the root of it, most people just want to be loved. Now, with that packaging of that love comes in, maybe we are asking for too much. Maybe we are asking that the man, I mean, I know a few years ago it was real popular for everybody to have a list. And most people on their list he had to be 6'2", 220, chiseled, in shape, wealthy, educated, you know, look like a younger version of Denzel, you know, have a smile like Idris Elba, you know. And yes, I think that's a little bit ridiculous. And what I think is that whoever you ultimately end up with is going to look a lot different than the person on that paper that you wrote out. Right. So in that regard, yes, a lot of times we are, it's not that we're looking for too much, I think we're looking for the wrong things. And as opposed to looking for mere materialistic wealth or looking for superficial things, a lot of times we need to, like we were talking about earlier, swap out some of those things on the list and swap in some others.
And I think that it almost speaks to your earlier point that, you know, women who are out in the workforce doing those things, they come home and they try to manage the house in the same way they manage their work life. And also, I don't know if they expect too much, but they expect at least the same. So that they look at the man and they say, well, if I did it, how come you can't? You know what I mean? And everyone's calling is not the same. Everyone's position in the world is not the same. You know, everyone can't be a lawyer or a doctor. We need a plumber. We need an electrician. We need the bricklayer. Everyone is not the same. And I am, you know, I kind of subscribe to the theory that I don't want the same. I want the opposite. I want to be the yin to the yang. I want us to fill each other's gaps where they need to be filled and, you know, in that way make a completion. But I do think that women do obtain things, whether they're degrees or cars or homes, and they look at the man and say, well, why can't you?
Well, I think that being the yin to the yang is a safer route. It's a healthier route to take, in that when you're looking for someone who is bringing, well, I bring this to the table. I have a house and 2 cars and 3 dogs and whatever. What you got?
What you crazy?
Then it becomes, well, not only that, it becomes a competition.
Right.
And when you're competing with a man, you become a man, not a woman,
Right.
and the attraction is lost.
Right. Right, and I think that, in every relationship, there's a captain and there's a co-captain. There's a pilot and there's a co-pilot. There's a president, there's a vice president. And I think that women just have to learn that even if they're the president of their company somewhere and they've attained all degrees, at home they need to be the vice president. You know what I mean? And the vice president fills in, she's the helpmeet. She fills in when the president can't. You know what I mean? But instead of women all the time saying, well, I did it so you do it this way, I think that's unfair to the man.
Well, here's, and I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate, because I feel like we keep on swinging around this corner talking about, as far as being submissive or having this role or that role, which are things I definitely agree to. But what about when the male counterpart or the woman feels as though he's not pulling his weight? So if you're going to be submissive to somebody, if you're going to say, hey, babe, this is you're the captain of this ship and I'm here to support you, but what if your ship keeps sinking? What if y'all keep steering into storms? What if, you know what I'm saying? Like when, so, okay, what it was like, well, our captain's meeting, we had discussed X, Y, and Z. But then when we got out there at sea, you was like, no, I'm finna roll with you. And I was rolling with you. I was rolling with you. And when you turned left, we had said we was gonna turn right. I was like, I'm with you, baby, gonna turn left. It's cloudy over there, but you know what you're doing, babe. We're doing this. Then y'all got in the middle of the storm. You lost half the fish you was gonna sell on the boat. You know what I'm saying? What about in those situations where the man is, you feel, putting you in harm's way? You start feeling like, whoa, 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 whoa.
2 things for me.
That's when you dock ship and you get out.
That's number one. I think you have to make the decision how long you gonna roll with this. Like, you give him some leeway. You decide if this is a leader. Like she said, Donald is a leader. She doesn't have a question about that. So she's not gonna have to worry about jumping ship. So that's number one. You just kind of got to make that determination whether you're gonna ride it out, not whether you're gonna take over and take the oars out of his hands, just whether you're gonna. Because I feel like that's where a lot of couples get into conflict. And that's right there. I just assume I won't be in that position. But I just assume that I would not be attracted to a man who can't steer a boat.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't be in that boat with him, because I would figure that out. That's what dating is about.
He's a horrible.
That's
really what happened in my relationship is that I looked up and realized, okay, he's really not rowing this boat.
Yeah, that's what dating is about. I think it's a cultural thing, particular to Chicago, that we jump into relationship to relationship to relationship. There's no dating. But if you're dating, say you're dating a couple guys, it's real casual. This one takes you to dinner, this one takes you to the movie. If you see that this one can't even pick a restaurant and then can't pick the dish on the menu that he wants to eat and doesn't know what he wants to do or where he wants to go,
the man will take you where jump off of.
You see that you shouldn't get into that boat with him. But falling into bed with this one or that one, ending up in a relationship, 6 months later we realize, okay, this dude can't even pick out his own socks.
Vision Rod Studios in 1906 and a half, South Halsted here in Chicago.
If you've ever dreamed of becoming an entrepreneur and don't know where to start, The Entrepreneur Within You by Julie Holloway is a must-read. Holloway and 17 co-authors share advice and inspiration that can save you from serious business blunders. So purchase your copy today on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. The Entrepreneur Within You. Empowering, equipping, inspiring.
Then we're stuck.
And that's why a lot of people get into the conflict, and then the woman, instead of jumping off the ship, goes, well, you always sending us in the wrong direction, and next time, the last time, and he's like, oh, now she always nags. She always Every time I do something, I can't never do nothing right. You know, so then they got the conflict going where she pissed and nagging at him because she like, if I get caught in one more damn storm, it's gonna be a problem. And he upset because he like, every time I try to turn left, she like turn right. I try to turn right, she like turn left. Then we in the storm, it's my fault. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, then they be like, if she would just be submissive, then I could roll this boat the way we supposed and everything be cool. But nah, she don't never like to shut up. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, you gotta earn some of your submissive points sometimes, or like you said,
You have to demonstrate that you can lead.
Taking some time to get to know people and fill people out is a great way to figure out who's the best person to be submissive to,
the best man
and that all the guys
Exactly.
are not submission material.
I mean,
Everybody's not
the
submission
part to
material.
me, part of being submissive is trusting who you're with and backing them up on decisions. But also, if I'm submissive to my man, I am able to tell him how I think and how I feel, and he will take that into consideration.
That's very important.
So if
That
I say to him, baby, I really love you,
I read the map.
and I read the map, but baby, look right here, it says that we need to be making a left right here and not a right. And he loves me, and he is a leader. Leaders take direction from people behind them that has more experience in different things. So if I am an expert map reader, which I am not, but if I was, and then Donald is a great driver and I'm an experienced map reader, he would be like, well, I'm a great driver and my wife's a good map reader. Allow me to let my wife lead me on.
That's what I was speaking to in terms of wanting something different. If I don't want a great driver, I'm a great driver. I need a good map reader. You know what I mean? We should be looking for people who not match what we do, but complement what we do. Period.
Well, you gotta know who you are. And a lot of my male friends, I see them choose mates, and I'm like, okay, at this age, boo-boo,
That big booty ain't cooking.
And she ain't raising no kids to clean in the house.
And if you like to smoke weed on the weekends and she thinks you're gonna go to hell, then maybe that's not gonna work out, because every weekend y'all gonna be fighting about the same old,
Right before
same old. Right before you get high and go to church. You know? So, you know, sometimes I tell the guys, and it's a thing for girls too, like, know what your strengths and weaknesses are, so that you can see, you know what, I would go further in life. I could do better. I would be more well-rounded as a person if I had somebody who was like this, and this, because I can help them and they can help me. Sometimes I feel like everybody want to find somebody just like them. And that's not, I need him to be smart as me, strong as me, this is me, that is me, this is me, or better. And it's like, maybe the places where he's strong should be places where you're not strong at. There should be a little bit of a difference, but that takes knowing who you are and to do some reflection, not about, I want the girl who look like this, who dress like this, who has, a lot of guys are like, how much money does she make and what kind of car? Yes, how much money does she make? If she don't got no job and she not this and she only works here and not there and she's not clearing this much money, then why are you looking at me to bring in this amount of money when you only bringing in that amount of money? Everything's like so tit for tat, and it's like, if you're making 6 figures, you don't need your woman to come in making 6 figures.
That's like
maybe
Eddie Murphy said about Johnny Carson. What, you got $3,070,000? Who cares about your $70? Are you kidding me?
It's like, maybe you need somebody to be home because you're never home all day long. You can never get anything accomplished in the household because you're not there. You know, maybe.
Because if both of us are bringing home the bacon, then who's frying it up in the pan?
Who is frying it up in the pan? And then that go to some funky. You cook. You better go home and get the bacon, then come home, cook the bacon, then wash the pan the bacon came in, then pack my lunch. It's like, wow. You know, we're going to have to split some. I'm not really every woman. That's just a Whitney Houston. That's just a song. I'm not, you know, right?
I had said something that lit Suzanne on fire this past week. And
which thing was it?
It was the thing that I said that I think that too many women expect things from men that they do not or wish to achieve themselves. So I think when I said and I said that, and I used the wrong thing. I really use about
I don't know, because I jumped all over.
I know, but my thing is like, so when a woman says, oh, I want a man that has a degree, I want him to have 6 figures, I want him to have this type of car, this, that, and the other, and you barely finished high school, you know, you got a bus pass, you can't cook, you can't do anything, but you want so much more than you expect of yourself. So my thing is, if you want to attract that type of a man, you have to put yourself in a position where those type of men are in your circle, in your realm. And it goes back to a show that Suzette had with Rashad Mendenhall. And we were talking about interracial dating. And he says, you know what, I love black women. I think black women are beautiful. He said, but I am a football player. And there are not too many black women that are in our immediate reach. He says, you know, there are a lot of publicists. There's a lot of, you know, managers and.
He said even in college, right. You know, his tutors were white.
Right.
It was like that was all it was around. Right. It was like the white chick.
Exactly. So my thing is, if you want a certain type of person and you're not getting that type of person, you need to put yourself in a position to get the type of person that you desire and stop blocking Boo Boo from Kiki. Boo Boo ain't for you. Boo Boo is for Kiki. And if you keep getting Boo Boos, Kiki is out here trying to get with George, Washington III with a degree. You understand? I mean, you're mixing the goldfish with the sharks.
And my point was, why would you, if you're in a position of less than, why want anything that's less than? Why not want something that's more than what you have and are and do? Why not
somebody next to me in the ghetto?
We were talking about credit. We were talking about credit. That's what we were talking about. And I said, if a man has A1 credit, would he, as a smart man, risk his A1 credit, something that he had built, and he paid his bills on time, and he brought people to pay Paul, to date or possibly marry a woman that, you know, can't finance, you know, a pack of gum?
Because he doesn't want the one who has A1 credit. He doesn't want the one with 2 degrees who has A1 credit as well. He doesn't want.
But it goes back to your earlier point that if he really wants Suzette, because Suzette does have bad credit, then he will be with Suzette despite my credit.
Does he want a wife or our FICO score?
Right.
Like, it's not the same thing.
Right.
You know, if you have all that, that's great. It's fabulous. But is that how you're choosing your wife?
Well, I mean, that was just a point. It was just like, that was just a point I was trying to raise when I said that you can't ask for something if you're not trying to achieve what you're asking for. So although her credit might be bad, if she's in the process of fixing her credit, she's in the process of paying people back, or she's more, you know, knowledgeable about how her credit works, if she's working towards it, I can see him saying, well, she is working towards getting something better, therefore I can gamble with her. But if you're good,
those things are real surface level things.
And what about, you know, is she a beautiful person?
Right.
Does she have a gorgeous heart? When she's around you, does she make you feel like a better person than you were before?
Because people are not the sum of their mistakes.
Do you notice that after you leave this woman's presence, you're inspired to do more and be more with your life? To me, I think as a man, that kind of stuff is important. There's a lot of stuff that men go through that women don't go through because they deal with the world. And at this point, I guess women deal with the world just as much as men do. But I'm saying, like, from the point of view where sometimes a man just needs somebody to say, hey, babe, you know, come here.